YouTube and welcome to my very first list analysis video. I saw a lot of YouTubers make their list analysis before tournaments and I decided to do the same. I will be taking part in a very interesting tournament that's called Lords of War. It's hosted and organized by Scattered Dice in Sweden. So me and Janos are going there and we'll try to do our best, but most importantly we'll have fun and meet new people. And to this tournament I will be bringing my red Corsairs, and as always with them it's all about the theme, but I want them to be competitive as much as they can as well. So it's not a powerhouse army, but it's not a walk in the park as well. So I have two detachments here. It's a battalion detachment and a spearhead detachment. And in the battalion detachment we have one squad of 10 cultists armed with autoguns and two squads of 8 Chaos Space Marines, both squads armed with plasma gun. And in one squad I have two Lightning Claw champion, and in the other squad I have a Power Sword champion. So it's all WYSIWYG. And then I have two rhinos. Both rhinos have havoc launchers on them. I have one squad of bikers. It's a 5-man squad. I have two Meltas and I have a Power Fist on the champion. And I also have a Helldrake with Bale Flamer and a Demon Prince with a set of Malefic Talents. And of course the Warlord is Huron. Then for my Spearhead detachment I have two Malarfins with Lash and Tendrils, a Leviathan Dreadnought with Siege Claw and Butcher Cannon, and a Chaos Sorcerer. Now let's talk about why Huron is my Warlord and not the Demon Prince. I was going back and forth between them, deciding who I want to be my Warlord. There's their own pros and cons for each and one of them. So for the Demon Prince I could go and make him my Warlord and give him the Warlord that gives him 6+ Final Pain basically. But he's a fire magnet for my opponent. He's a big target and he's always will be in the front lines trying to get in combat, and so he'll most likely die sooner and faster than Huron. While Huron, his main benefit is that he gives my army one more command point, which brings me to 10 command points in total. And his warlord trait is basically useless against anything except Imperium, because he can reroll to wound rolls against Imperium forces, which can be good, but if he will be in combat. And in combat he's a very menacing threat. Now let's talk about psychic powers that I have. Let's start with Huron, who has of course Smite, and then I gave him Death Hex. Now Death Hex in my opinion is very important in the tournaments, because it takes away invulnerable saves. And with the new meta that we see a lot of Custodies, especially in my community, I think that's a very valuable psychic power to have in your arsenal. Now the Sorcerer also has Death Hex and also Prescience. Now I gave him Death Hex as well for variety and more options to keep open, and also because of one stratagem that I'm planning to use. Now why I have Prescience on him, because the plan is to put him behind the Leviathan Dreadnought, move the Leviathan along the army, but with the Prescience he doesn't get the penalty of -1 to hit, so he will hit on 2+ anyways. Also I can move the Sorcerer on one of the Rhinos behind the Bikers and give them Prescience if I so need to. So I have that option open as well. And for the Demon Prince I have of course Warp Time. Now as you know, he will be escorting the two Malarfins, buffing them with Warp Time to make them move faster and closer to my enemies. Now the other two psychic powers that I was considering and still am considering are Diabolic Strength and Infernal Case. Now the Diabolic Strength is very interesting on Huron from all the people because of his option to strike with a Power Fist or his lightning claw. It buffs his attack to 1 and buffs his strength to 2, which make him very scary in close combat. And Inferno Gaze is also an option for any of the sorcerers, because it's basically a second smite, and you roll 3 dice, and on 4+, your opponent suffers a mortal wound. So it's basically another variation of smite. But the only benefit from that is that you can choose your target instead of targeting the closest one. Now going for the stratagems that I picked for my army that I think will be game changing in a lot of ways. I will be going from most useful to least useful, and not least useful but more situational. First of all, we have Chaos Familiar. Now Chaos Familiar is a very interesting stratagem that allows me to pick one Psyker in my army and change his psychic powers, and it only costs 1 command point. So let's say we take the Demon Prince. He casts Warp Time on his Malarfiends. All 3 of them, I mean the Malarfiends and the Demon Prince, are already in combat, and it's my turn and I don't need Warp Time. So I might play this stratagem and change my psychic power to a Demonic Strength, Death Hex, or Infernal Gaze, or whatever I feel like, which will be very interesting because it gives me again an option and a trick on my slave. And it also goes to the Sorcerer and Huron as well. So that's a psychic stratagem that I am very interested in playing. I played it yesterday, it worked out, it's a very good option to keep in your pockets. Then second stratagem that I think will be very important is Endless Cacophony. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And it works only on Heretical Starters, Slanesh Infantry or Bikers. And I forgot to mention my entire army is marked with Slanesh, except the Leviathan and Huron, because they cannot take any marks. So, again, it's only available to use on Infantry or Bikers, but that unit can immediately shoot again. And since my Bikers have melta guns, you can expect them to go up in the face of my opponent tanks or vehicles and just blow them up. Hopefully. If the first fire of shooting was successful, I can pick another target to shoot, because they can shoot again. And it costs 2 command points, but if I am on 10 command points to start with, it will be very useful. So, then I have Demon Forge. Demon Forge is a very nice stratagem if I am in combat with my Malarfiends or Heldrake, but mostly Malarfiends. I can pick 1 Demon Agent and they can reroll to hit and to wound rolls. And then on Malarfiends it's amazing. It's very amazing. It costs 1 command point, which is very cheap. I can use it over and over again. And it's, yeah, considering that their weapon skill is 4 on the Malarfiends, I think it's very useful. It's very useful indeed. Now, Tide of Traitors is a very handy stratagem to have. It costs 2 command points, and I can pick 1 of my Chaos Cultist units and they bring them back wholly within 6 inches of any edge of the battlefield, and more than 9 away from my models at full strength capacity, starting capacity. So if they are a unit of 10, my opponents, let's say, kill 3 of them, I use the stratagem, bring them back at 10-man squad. It can be very useful for getting objectives, markers, line breakers, whatever. It's very useful. And last but not least, a very situational stratagem, it's called Demon Shell. So basically I pick 1 Heretical Starter character, attack with a bolt pistol, bolt gun, combi bolter, or bolt gun with profile with combi bolter. I make 1 shot with it, which cannot be rerolled, which is very important. If the shot hits, the target suffers D3 mortal wounds. If the shoot misses, your character suffers D3 mortal wounds. So it's a very risky stratagem, but I think it's a very good stratagem to have as an extra option, and it costs only 1 command point, and I will be using it only on my sorcerer if so needed be. So it's very useful for sniping, let's say, characters, I think. Now let's talk about the overall tactics that will have my army. Now, Huron is always sitting in the Rhino with one of this Space Marine squad, and I'm going to be playing very aggressively with the Rhinos, moving them forward as fast as possible. The same goes for the Bikers, the same goes for the Heldrake and Malafins. Now, since I'm having the Renegade chapter tactics, I can advance and then charge at the same turn, and also shoot my assault weapons. Melta guns are assault weapons. So I can move my Bikers 14 inches, then advance 6 inches more because Turbo Boost makes them advance 6 inches instead of rolling a dice and see how much I advance. They shoot the nearest vehicle, and then they can charge it. Considering that I have a power fist in the unit, it can make damage, might make damage, and with the stratagem that can make them shoot one more time, it's very dangerous for my opponent. Now, the Demon Prince is always sitting behind the Malafins. One of the Malafins always advances, while the second one, hopefully I will be able to cast Warp Time on him and move him closer to my enemy lines and hopefully charge. Malafin in close combat is no joke, considering that I can use my Demon Force stratagem. Now, I found out that two Malafins should always be together, and instead of them being separate in different sides of the table, because then they can be picked on very easily. But if they're together, my opponent has to concentrate in shooting at them. And this army operates like a wave. You have your first wave of assault, you have your second wave of assault, and you have your third wave of assault. The first wave are Bikers, and one of the Heldrake and one of the Malafins. The second wave are the Demon Prince, the second Malafin, and hopefully both squads of Chaos Space Marines alongside with Huron. For the third wave is the Leviathan Dreadnought that can come on and be a very menacing threat in close combat. Now, while the first phase of combat goes on, with the potentially Heldrake should pick on something like a Razorback or any tanks except for Wavestone Prince mostly, because they have fly and they can move out to combat and shoot again. But he's a nuisance, and he basically makes my opponent rage. He's there just to wreak havoc and block my opponent's shooting. The Malafin are very good against vehicles because they have their 4 attacks with a fist that makes them strength 12. Weapon skill 4, but Demon Force make me roll that, and I potentially can blow up the first vehicle. Potentially. Now, the Demon Prince is very versatile as well. I can cast Warp Speed on him and move him before the Malafins, but then again he can be shot down very easily and killed off, picked off. So he I think should be in the second wave behind the second Malafin to deny my opponent the possibility to shoot at him. And he is also very good at picking at the enemy flyers because he has 4 attack base. He has 3 attacks because of the malefic talents. And then the Marcus Slanesh gives him the opportunity to take one Slanesh relic. I forget its name, it's something with elixir. That gives him +1 more attack and +1 strength, which is very nice on him. And he can pick on enemy flyers and bring them down, hopefully. Of course, he also has smite, and he can smite the flyer before charging. Now, the Bikers are already set. They move up, they shoot, they charge. Rhinos also have to be very aggressive, move up forward, but at the same time they have Havoc Launchers for the extra option to shoot, if so needed be, because this army is very limited at shooting. Chaos Space Marine squads. A lot of people say that the cultists are better than Chaos Space Marines. I highly disagree with that. I think there should be a mix of both in your lists. Yes, cultists are cheaper, faster, and their shooting is worse. While Chaos Space Marines have the option to get plasmas, which I found very useful. Even if they have only 1 turn of shooting and then they die, it doesn't matter. That one shooting with overcharged plasma can make the deal, and it's lots of time it made a difference in my games when shooting at flyers, bringing them down, and also bolter shots, which can be very, very useful. Rapid fire bolters are no joke, it's a lot of dice and your opponent will roll those once. They will roll those once. And so they're hopefully in the second wave or charge or the third wave, it depends. Huron basically stays in Rhino until he gets out. He flames someone, he charges. He's very good at picking up characters one by one. So you can charge him in a character, a solo character, and he has the potential to bring him down. He has the option to strike with his fist or his axe. I usually strike with the axe, but something against the power Terminator armor or something like that, you get to hit with the fist, and again, since he's the warlord, he can reroll wound rolls against Imperium, which is very helpful on him. Also, he has the Chaos Familiar, that if you cast a successful psychic power, you can cast it again, as long as the Chaos Familiar is alive. Now the Leviathan Dreadnought and the Chaos Sorcerer. The Leviathan Dreadnought is a very, very menacing unit in this army. It can shoot with his Butcher Cannon, which is no joke, it's 8 shots, strength 8, AP -1, damage 1. But if my opponent suffers casualties on a unit that was shot with the Butcher Cannon, he has -2 leadership, which is a very good thing, because it means that he will fail his leadership test more often. And I would not suggest to sit with your Leviathan Dreadnought in your deployment zone, but most likely move up alongside with your army. He has a movement of 8, but if he moves, he has -1 to hit, and that's why you have the sorcerer behind him that will cast Prescience, so he can roll on a so he has the ballistic skill of 2+. Now, why I gave him Siege Claw instead of Flux or second Butcher Cannon is because I'm afraid that I will be deep striked a lot by Custodies or any other deep striking units that can actually charge into the level 5 and kill him, and the Siege Claw is there to protect him. So basically that's my army. It doesn't look like much. I'm very, very bad. This army is very bad against gun lines armies like Imperial Guard Tau. I most likely never win against that. But against other armies, especially against Space Marines, I have a lot of threats here that they have to deal, and a lot of heavy hitting units that I have to deal with. And I think that this army will be a presence on the tabletop, and hopefully I will get some prizes at Lords of War. So see you there, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video.